Here's the takeaway. Lois Lerner's trying to cover her tracks. And this guy tells us he hasn't even talked to the FBI. What kind of investigation is going on where the FBI won't even talk to the head of the agency that has this kind of stuff going on with their email exchange and won't talk to the agency that lost key evidence in an investigation that's about people's First Amendment rights being targeted? And we get these flippant answers from the commissioner. That's what just bothers every single American.
That is Congressman Jim Jordan, Republican from Ohio, a member of the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee, at a hearing yesterday on the IRS scandal that revealed another jaw-dropping email from Lois Lerner. They just keep coming and coming, Congressman, and every time we get one, we go, holy moly, look at this.
Yeah.
What's going on here?
Well, they keep coming, and the IRS doesn't tell us this information in any kind of a timely fashion. I mean, I go back to the fact they knew in April that they lost Lois Lerner's emails. They didn't tell Congress until June. And you think about the duties they had. They had a duty to produce the documents when we subpoenaed them. They couldn't do that because they didn't. They also had a duty to preserve the documents under the records law, and they didn't do that. And then they had a duty to disclose in a timely fashion, and they didn't do that. So they had three duties. They breached all of them. And now we learn there's a different system.
Yes.
An instant messaging system that Lois Lerner wanted to make sure that, she wanted to make sure her tracks were covered there. So we find this email where she inquires, the OCS, the Office Communication Server System that they have, this instant message chat system that they have. She sends an email, is that stuff traceable? Is that stuff trackable? Is that stuff saved? And she finds out when it's not saved, she gets the answer back, it's not saved. Her response is, perfect.
Yes.
And that was just 31 days before she had the planted question at the Bar Association speech where she revealed to the world that this was actually going on. But it wasn't Washington's fault, remember. She lied to the American people and she said, it's just a couple line agents in Cincinnati.
All right,
so we know she's not being truthful, but we'd like for the IRS to be truthful with us.
All right, so you've got this email that says, hey, all of a sudden we know that there's this other instant messaging system. But her email was also eye-opening in another way. She says she wrote this on an email. I was cautioning folks about email and how we have had several occasions where Congress had asked for emails because there had been an electronic search for responsive emails. In other words, she's worried that Congress is going to ask about the emails, and I'm telling my people to be careful about the things we write in emails. Well, what do you need to be careful about if you're not doing anything wrong?
No, exactly right. And also understand this, she wrote that after she knew her computer crashed and a bunch of her emails were already lost, and she's still nervous. So she's still trying. But you got to know the timing of this. This is just that email that you're referring to is just 12 days after the Inspector General gave the IRS the draft report. So remember, the IRS got the report before the American people and before Congress did, and it said, hey, targeting was going on according to the Inspector General's investigation. So now Lois Lerner knows that this report's going to go public in just a few weeks. So a few days after she gets that report, the IRS gets that report, she's inquiring, hey, make sure you're careful, because this report's going to go public. She doesn't say that in email, but she knows that report's going to go public, so be careful. And by the way, let's make sure that these instant messages aren't traceable and trackable either.
All right, Congressman Jim Jordan, you just got this information dumped on you the day before the July 4th holiday. And if I'm understanding right, the Inspector General says there's a problem here and we're looking into it. Days later, Lois Lerner says to her staff, Congress is asking for emails, so we need to be cautious. I'm using her words. We need to be cautious about what we say in emails.
Right.
The hard drives are destroyed. The emails are lost. Ms. Lerner has pled the Fifth. You just said moments ago that the IRS is not being truthful with you, a congressman on the Oversight Committee. Is it time for either a select committee or an independent counsel?
It's time for a special prosecutor. And when I say the IRS is not being truthful, they're not being truthful in a timely fashion. There's no reason that John Koskinen should have waited 2 months to tell Congress, hey guys, we lost Lois Lerner's emails, a critical bunch of emails that went from the IRS to Justice, potentially to the White House, potentially to the Treasury. There's no reason to wait two months to tell us that, which he did. We need a special prosecutor because we know, anyone who's followed this story knows the investigation at the Justice Department is a joke. When the FBI leaks to the Wall Street Journal, no one's going to be prosecuted. When the president goes on national television and said there's no corruption, not even a smidgen, and when the person heading the investigation is a max-out contributor to the president's campaign, Barbara Bosserman, you know the investigation is a joke. When the FBI hasn't even talked to John Koskinen.
Right.
We've known now, he's known since April that he's lost a significant part of the evidence. and the FBI hasn't even sat down and talked with him. That's unbelievable.
Representative Jordan, you called for a special prosecutor first in March of this year. There's been no movement. Who has the power to do this? Who can?
This is the problem. I mean, Eric Holder has to do it. What we're asking for is just appoint someone who didn't max out to the president's campaign, Mr. Holder. Put someone that everyone can agree is. Pick a Democrat, but pick someone who's impartial and fair and is going to do a good job and going to do a real job. Put them in charge of the investigation. Now, here's the good news. 26 Democrats voted with every single Republican in the House of Representatives. So 26 Democrats had the courage to say, this investigation is not legit. Let's put someone in charge that is going to do a real, fair, and impartial job.
All right, so I don't know if you've even been made aware of this, but this morning in the Washington Post, there is a new development. The attorney for Lois Lerner says, well, maybe Lois Lerner did save some emails. He has apparently gone on record and clarified an earlier statement he made when he stated, for the record, that she didn't have any emails. Now he's corrected that and said, well, yes, she may have some emails. What do you draw from that?
Well, we want them. If she's got some emails that do, we would love to have those. This is news to me. I've not seen the story yet this morning, and I'll take a look at that. But we want, look, when you're talking about something as fundamental as a systematic targeting of people exercising your most fundamental right, your First Amendment right to free speech, to speak out in a political nature against your government, that's what was systematically targeted. When we're talking about something this fundamental, the goal is to get to the truth, find out where this started, who actually was involved in it, where did it come from, why did it happen. You got to get to the truth. And so we want every bit of evidence we can find so we can get to the truth about something this basic.
All right, so look, bottom line, the president says not a smidgen of corruption. Your Democratic colleagues say you guys are just conducting a witch hunt. What do you think is the there that is there?
Well, we don't know for sure. I mean, but when you have the fact that 74% of the American people think the IRS deliberately lost the emails, that's not healthy for a democracy. When you got a government agency where that many Americans think they were deliberately destroying evidence, that's not good. So the goal, again, is to just get to the truth and find out where, in fact, did this start. Is it like a lot of people assume? All the messages sent by the president when he called out the Supreme Court at the State of the Union address, and all the Democrat senators saying you need to crack down on these people. Was it just Lois Lerner saying, you know what, I hear all these high-ranking officials in the government from the Democrat side, which she's obviously politically aligned with, saying these things, maybe I'll just go out and do this project on my own. Was that what happened? Maybe, but we got to get to the evidence to find out. Or was there, in fact, someone in a higher-up position corresponding with Lois Lerner and saying, hey, you need to do this? We saw what happened in the 2010 election. We don't want this to happen in 2012. You need to slow these groups down. You need to target them. You need to harass them, which obviously went on. So we don't know where that started. That's what we want to find out. Because to have a healthy democracy, a healthy country where you can exercise your First Amendment rights and speak out against your government, you got to get to the truth.
Congressman Jim Jordan, we only have 30 seconds, but today Judicial Watch has a hearing before a judge about a FOIA request that IRS bungled. Tomorrow, True the Vote has a day before a judge over another issue with the IRS. Your committee continues. Where is this heading? What's next?
Well, we're going to keep subpoenaing. We got people that Mr. Costner, we've been trying to get in front of the committee now for the last couple of weeks, and he keeps stalling on us. We're going to have to subpoena people, I think, to bring them to some of the tech people, some of the lawyers over there that we haven't. And we've interviewed so many people. We've deposed so many people. I've sat in on these depositions. But you just got to keep going because every week something new comes out. Oh, we lost this. Oh, we didn't know. John Koskinen testified yesterday. He didn't even know about this instant messaging system.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Representative Jim Jordan, thanks for being on the case. Thanks for joining us.
You bet. Thank you, guys.
Not even mass corruption, not even a smidgen of corruption.
Okay. Uh-huh.